Don't make a name for yourself as a cyberpunk by how you live. Make a name by how you die.
Gonna take you there myself, fly you to the moon, that's a promise.
Okay? All joking aside, I think what is so frustrating about watching this scene is the fact that we know he's straight up lying. I do not think for a second any of us believed when she said, you know, you better not die on me, and he's like, I won't.
I don't want you to die on me.
I won't.
I think if anything, we all knew all the more that, or even more, that he was actually going to end up dead by the end of this anime. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about this perfectly imperfect couple and why I think they are so frustrating. I will admit that I enjoyed their relationship throughout the anime. It was like cringy, lovable kind of thing. Like, and plus, I played the video games. I know a lot of people didn't actually play the game, so they didn't see a lot of the Easter eggs that we got. So one of the biggest hints that we got as gamers was the fact that there was a drink in the afterlife named after David Martinez, and we all know what that means. He is going to die. So watching him fall in love was a thing we knew that was a fleeting moment. It was going to end eventually, and the fact that this was a limited series made this moment hit even harder. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at key moments in the anime where it gave us hope that things could work out, and then other moments that may have highlighted diverging values and red flags that should have been, you know, kind of raised up for the both of them, and they just completely ignored it. So we're gonna start things off by talking about this specific scene. Well, I think any time David and Lucy were alone in her apartment is a good starting point to talk about how they both, well, not both of them, I think Lucy knew more than anyone that this relationship wasn't it for her, but she was so drawn to David because of his personality and because he is so willing to run into a burning building and save that person despite him getting hurt himself. So I think that is what pulled her in, even though she knew that this was not gonna turn out well. Okay, so yeah, like, I don't want to say that David is completely naive, but as a fellow dude, I can relate to his feelings at this very moment, which is, you know, being a 17-year-old boy, adolescent, and going through something traumatic. I don't think anyone, you know, and I knock on wood for anyone, hopefully your life isn't as difficult as David was in the early beginnings of this anime, but what I'm trying to get at is he went through some stuff, and I think at the first moment that he had the opportunity to kind of fall in love or build a relationship with someone who looks pretty damn hot.
What did he say?
I think he instantly said and looked at her and was like, I will die for you. I will do anything for you, and I will make your dream work. Essentially, that's what he was saying to Lucy, because Lucy was going out there starting things off by, hey, I know you're the type of person who will do things at the, you know, extent of possibly hurting yourself. And he goes, yeah, I promise I will get you to the moon, essentially at any cost. That's the way I looked at it. And it's just so relatable, because I think a lot of us, and again, I'm connecting to this as a fellow guy, I felt this where early on in your adolescent life, you think that this is the best it'll ever be for whatever reason, and you will literally do everything in your power to make it work. So this was very relatable. And again, from my perspective, her being drawn to David was like a moth drawn to a flame. It is, these are like stereotypes, I think, that are always played on, but I think that's what makes their relationship so frustrating in the beginning, because we can all see the red flags, but we're all like rooting for them because we know exactly what this feels like. Again, from a perspective of a guy side, I'm thinking like, yeah, I will do anything for her. Meanwhile, she is already a couple steps ahead, knows that this won't turn out well, but yet she indulges in it and actually goes straight for the smooch. So that's my thought when it comes to the start of their relationship. So the next scene I want to talk about that I think we get to see the evolution of their relationship is Main's death. This for me was so important for us to see, because it was the moment that essentially splintered or made this, what is this? Not a void. It was essentially what made their relationship feel distant. And without them really knowing it, because of the moment that they were in, especially because of the fact that they were going through being attacked by MaxTac. So the thing I want to point out the most here is David was doing what David was always going to do, which is run into the burning building to try and save someone he loves and cares for. Even though he is terrified, as we can see with him shaking as he's holding the pistol up, and Maine eventually just tells him, hey, just get out of here, run away. What kind of crushed my soul a little bit was when he was asking for Lucy's support. He was saying, aren't you going to tell me that I can do this? Aren't you going to tell me that it'll be okay?
You gonna say you believe in me too?
Meanwhile, her mindset is like, dude, let's get the fuck out of here. What are we doing?
Need to cut our losses and run.
Here I'm fighting, don't ya?
And I think that's huge because that plays into her survival mindset, which we get a little bit more of context later in the series, where she explains that she ran away from an Arasaka facility. So she was shook knowing that Arasaka is now involved with David overall. So she's just like, let's get the hell out of here. And I think overall, even if Arasaka wasn't involved, she has that mindset of save herself first and kind of like live to fight another day, where she already pointed out that David's biggest strength and weakness is the fact that he will literally do things at the cost of his own self. So I think this was a very crucial moment for us to see, because it does sort of create that distance or that gap between them in their relationship. And the reason why I enjoy this is we actually get to see live what their instincts tell them, where it's contradicting values that actually come to play. Is one of them right? Is one of them wrong? That's totally up for us, for you to decide on your own. But the fact that their values are opposing values, not just, slightly different. They are literally opposing values. And I think seeing their values clash in such a way is necessary. One, it's kind of like a red flag to both of them that, hey, as much as we're enjoying the ride of this relationship, maybe it won't work out because of how different our values truly are. Yet in traditional adolescent fashion, they just steamed along thinking that they can solve their issues their own way without actually working it out and trying to come to a resolution, which bleeds into the final, I guess, scene or moment that I want to talk about, which is them having that one reprieve when they're actually talking outside of Night City, enjoying the city view, and where Lucy opens up about the Arasaka incident and her childhood.
Really? The moon outshines them. Man, you sure you went to Arasaka Academy?
Dropped out, remember?
Ah, right.
I think this would have been the moment to essentially spill all the beans and kind of open it up to each other that, hey, look, this is why I am more distant from you, David. It's because Arasaka is involved and I am scared for you. I know what they're capable of doing and I'm just trying to protect you. Meanwhile, David is just, again, I think he's the more basic character in this situation, where he's just doing what he thinks is right, which is save up the eddies he needs to make Lucy happy, without actually properly understanding what is happening. Not to say this is either of their fault, but this was that moment, if there was going to be one, where they could actually tell each other what was really bothering them. I know there is that scene where David is just like, just tell me what's going on, and then Lucy gets a ping that a net runner is actually prying and trying to find where David is, so she kind of runs away. But I think if anything, that was a little bit more of an unfair situation for Lucy, because she's like, oh my god, I gotta stop this right now, whereas they were sitting down and actually talking about life, and this was, to me, the best time to actually open up and let each other know what was going on in each other's hearts and minds.
Lucy, please! David, come back to me! Come back!
And then, of course, there's the last scene where, both of them are admitting, as David is falling, using the Skyber skeleton, that, hey, I just wanted you to be happy. And Lucy's explaining, I didn't want to be saved, or didn't need to be saved. And obviously at this point, it's already too late. They've already made decisions that they can no longer turn back from. Clearly, literally all of Night City, MaxTac, and Arasaka is now involved. So there's no way David is getting out of this alive. I think him, you know, essentially protecting Lucy and getting her out of there was the most, like, again, David thing he could have done. And it could have been avoided, but the whole point of the series, I think, was to give us that fleeting love story. And that's why I think it was frustrating, because it could have been avoided. There are so many moments where they could hash things out and work towards finding a solution to the problem, but they are not at that age. I don't think they're mature enough. And maybe because of the circumstance that they're in, living in Night City, they weren't able to comprehend and think properly about the situation and try to solve things in a proper manner. So I know I'm being a little bit unfair by saying that, hey, things could have been solved, but I think this just adds to the idea that they're the perfectly imperfect couple. Like, we loved watching them get involved with each other, and then it was so frustrating watching them split apart, and eventually, you know, watching David die and Lucy get to the moon. It was just like the final nail in the coffin, where we get to see what a broken yet perfectly enjoyable relationship would look like in Night City. Boom. I don't even know if I made sense at the end of that. I was just saying what I felt. And I think, I don't know, that was a lot of fun to record, actually. That's gonna do it for me in this video. It ended up being a bit more of a rant. I tried to be as analytical as possible by breaking it down into key moments of the anime. So let me know what you guys think about my ideas in this video. Let me know what your thoughts and your feelings are in the comment section down below, and let's get talking some David and Lucy. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.